Hello, everyone, and welcome to Teresa's Spot for Art, where I love showing art from my heart and teaching you how to create a little joy in your life through some fun, simple, and quick art projects. We're going to do this really cute Valentine gnome. So let me turn you guys around and we will get started. So I have the pre-traced out 9x12. This is mixed media paper that I'm using. This is just a sheet that I keep in here to protect the rest of my pages in my art book. I have out a little baby blue. You can use whatever blue you want. And I am going to get started. I'm just going to wet my brush a little bit. I'm going to dry it off. I'm going to come to my blue and I'm going to load my brush with blue. And I'm going to start painting in from the top and working my way around. Pick up a little bit more blue. And I want around my gnome to be lighter than the outside. So that's why I'm painting blue on the outside. I'm going to get myself some white because I'm going to do this in sections. I'm not even going to wash my brush. But I'm going to come over here and pick up some white. And now I'm going to come around the gnome's hat. And now I'm going to start painting this white into the blue. So the part around my gnome is going to be more white. And I'm going to go back and forth, back and forth. So I have a nice soft line here. And what's around my gnome is almost going to be like, I got to get in this spot. Is that it? No, this is the spot. To get in this spot here, it's almost going to be like a halo around the gnome. All right, so we're going to get in there. I'm going to pick up some more white. I'm going to come to this side, and I'm going to outline. And then I'm going to start blending in my white to my blue. So I have the white on my brush, and I'm mixing it in with this light blue here. Pick up a little bit more white. If I need to have some blue in here to blend it, because when you use this mixed media paper, the paint dries really quick, so I have to pick up a little bit more blue to soften up my edge there. And there we go. So I'm just going to keep working my way around, bringing in the blue from the outside. I'll do a smaller section this time. And then picking up some white with my dirty brush, outlining part of the gnome. That's the scarf. And then working my way. So next to my gnome is lighter and out on the edge is darker. Get a little bit more of the dark blue, or the baby blue, I should say. And keep going. Now that's the scarf there, so I'm just going to come down here into the corner. Again, pick up some white, outline the outfit, and work the white into the blue. I'm going to move over to this side. Don't forget, this is recorded. If you need to hit the pause or back up or catch up, that's why it's great to have the video, and you can just hit stop or pause, catch up, and then move on. If you missed something or you got called away or it's taking you a little bit longer, it's all okay. And if you have not hit the subscribe button on my YouTube channel, please do, and you'll be notified every time I upload a new video. A little bit up from the bottom, and then again I'm going to pick up my white with my dirty brush and come in around the outfit and do a little bit of white. I can add as much white in here and blend it as I want. I can have it totally white around the gnome, or I could just have it the light blue. But I'm pretty happy with this that I have here. Okay. And I'm going to wash my brush. At that white, I'm going to get out this burgundy. So my gnome is going to have a few variations of pink, dark pink, light pink, medium pink. And I'm going to do all that with white and burgundy. I might even switch my brush to a smaller brush to do the hat. Okay. I'm going to get some of my white. I'm going to push it over here. I'm going to scoop up some of my burgundy, and I'm going to mix that in. I like that color. Let me wipe off my brush. I shouldn't do this over my art. Okay. Then I'm going to move some of my burgundy over here, and I'm going to scoop up some white. And I want a dark burgundy, dark pink, dark color over here. I'm going to get a little bit more white. This way I'm not contaminating all my paint. And if I need some white right now, I can get it. But I think that's a good color. Again, I shouldn't be doing it over, but I wanted you guys to see. So now I have this really light one. And then I have this dark one. And I'll go back and forth between them and come up with something in between as I paint. Okay? So I am going to start painting in the sections of the hat. So I'm going to outline the section a little bit with my brush and then fill it in. Do the same thing with this one. And fill it in. If you need to use a smaller brush, if you have a round brush, you can use any brush you want. The important part is when we're doing the hat, we want our brush strokes to go with the hat. Okay? So presumably after I get it all filled in, I want to then take my brush and fix my brush strokes so they go with the curve of the hat. Okay? All right. Now I'm going to use my dirty brush that has the pink on it. I'm going to come over here and pick up a little bit of the dark, and I'm going to come and do the scarf. This way the scarf is about a medium color. If you wanted to do use multiple pinks for this, you can. You can use red to make your pinks. It's totally up to you. And again, I want my brush strokes on my scarf to curve and follow the scarf. And then this is the knot. So I'm twisting my brush in here in a circle. Then I'm going to do the scarf. So I'm filling it in, and then I'm using a little bit of my brush to pull out the ends of the scarf. And we're going to do the same thing down here, just to the end of the scarf. Okay? All right. Now I'm going to work on the big band of the hat, and this I want to be even darker. I'm just trying to come up with a variation of pinks, this dark burgundy. This way everything is matching, but has a little bit different value to it, or tint or hue. You can do them all exactly the same. It's totally up to you. It's your art. Okay, so I'm just going to come in here with the dark on my brush only. I'm going to pull a little bit of shading up here on the ends of the hat. So I'm using my dirty brush. I'm just picking up the dark only, in this case the burgundy. Okay, I'm going to pull it in. Just going to wipe my brush off. Then I'm going to grab the light pink, and on a sort of an arch, I'm going to add a little bit of highlighting just to the middle here. Okay. Okay. I'm going to get back to my little bit of dark, and I'm going to do the same thing on either side of the scarf. A little bit of shading, wipe off my brush, come over here to the light, and then just put a little bit of highlight in there. If you put too much, you could always go back and darken it up again. Then I'm going to use the medium. So I'm mixing my very lightest pink with my darkest pink. I'm making like a medium shade, and I'm going to paint in the hearts and the mittens. Okay, so that's one heart. Pick up my dark paint. And if I painted this again a second time, it would probably have different colors to it. Unless I were to mix up a giant batch of each of these colors, which I'm not going to do, the chances of me being able to paint this design again with the exact same colors is pretty slim. And you know what? That's okay. And I'm letting you know that because whatever colors you mix or whatever paints you mix, that's fine. That's going to work for you. And I'm going to go back to the dark, and I'm going to paint in our mittens with the dark. If it isn't dark enough and I don't have enough contrast between my mittens, and my scarf, I'm going to pick up the solid burgundy and mix it between my brush and the painting and get my gloves, or my mittens rather, a little bit darker. Okay. Put it in that corner. All right, I'm going to put out a little bit of this yellow ochre. It's a very pale yellow. You can use a bright yellow if you want, totally up to you. I'm going to wash my brush. Now we're going to work on the outfit and the yellow parts of the hat. I'm going to put a little bit of brown out too because I might want to darken this yellow up a little bit, and I'm going to need the brown for the shoes anyway. Okay. Well, let's try a little bit of brown. Just darkened it up a tiny little bit, and that's what I'm going to use for the outfit. Going around the shoes. Around the hearts. Don't worry, if you get any on the hearts, you could always come back and fix them with acrylic paint. If you wait for stuff to dry, you can come back and fix anything. I love how these colors play together, the blue and the burgundy and this pale yellow ochre. I'm going to have to switch to a little small brush here for a minute because I want to get in around here, around the mittens and the gloves where he's holding the heart, or she. So I'm just going around. I'm using this small brush. I'm twisting it in my paint between my thumb and my forefinger. Brings all my bristles nice together. And then I can come in here and get in this little tight spot. Okay. Go back to that medium brush I had and my yellow paint, my yellow ochre. And now I'm going to start filling in the rest of the hat. Again, I'm outlining each section, and then I come back and fill it in. If you need a smaller brush or a round brush or a liner brush to get into some of these nooks and crannies, that's totally up to you. There's no right or wrong. The idea is to have fun and hopefully come up with a cute painting when you're done. And again, after I do the outlining and I fill in the sections, I want to come back and forth and make sure that my brush strokes follow the shape of the hat and that is curved. So I got in the corners, and now I'm just going to come back and I'm going to make sure that my brush strokes have a little bit of a curve to them. Oh, I got to do this little bottom one too. So let me get that little brush again and fill in this little tiny piece of hat down here. The very tip of the hat where the heart is hanging off of. Okay. I'm going to take my dirty brush. I'm going to go into my brown. I'm going to paint in the shoes. If you wanted to paint your shoes black, you can. If you want to paint your shoes pink, you can. Totally up to you. And this is why I keep this plastic in here, so then when I come off the page, it protects the pages underneath my art book. Okay, and I'm going to wash my brush. I'm going to go back to that smaller brush. I'm going to make a little bit of some flesh tone. If you have like a light bisque, if you have a tan, whatever color you want to make the flesh, you can. It's a gnome. I'm going to take a little bit of burgundy, a little bit of this yellow, and I'm going to keep lightening it up until I get a shade that I like. I probably used a little too much burgundy, but that's okay. Maybe I'll pick up some white. Oh, I think that's good. I think that's really good. So this part, it's not as light as I wanted it to be, but the first thing I'm going to do then is the nose. And I'm going to use this color for the nose. Okay. Now with my dirty brush, I'm just going to pick up white. And I'm going to do the rest of the face. And by that, so my brush was dirty. It had the darker color on it. And then I just scooped up some white with that same dirty brush. And that is automatically making my brush color much lighter, and I can paint in here the rest of the little bit of the face that's peeking out. Okay. And I'm going to wash my brush. All right. Okay. Now we're going to start adding in all the little details. We worked from the bottom up. We did the background. We base coated our gnome. Now we're going to add the details. Okay. I'm going to get a little bit of white, and I'm going to come in here and I'm going to add some white to the end of the scarf. So these would be the fringes on the end of the scarf. Okay. I'm going to get some white and I'm going to add a highlight to the tip of each of the shoes. I'm going to start adding in some highlight to the scarf, the gloves, and the nose. I'm going to add a little bit of highlight down both sides of the hat. And I'm just doing these little lines. They're following the curve of the hat, but I'm not completely outlining it. Just a little bit. Do the same thing with the brim of the hat. Okay. Then I'm going to take the back of my brush. I'm going to dip it in the blue paint. And I'm going to start putting these little dots around our hearts and decorating our hearts. I usually get 3 dots out of a dip. So I dip my brush in and I come back here and I just add some dots to that. I'm going to clean my brush. I'm going to go in the white and I'm going to do the same thing with this other heart. I'm trying not to pick up the blue. I'm trying to jump over. I'm putting them right on the edge. 3 dots to every dip. Jump over the hand. And these are just the fun little details. This is what really makes your art pop, be unique, whatever you want it to be. Isn't that really cute? Simple with the back of the brush. Okay. Well, I have the white again. I want to add a highlight to each of these hearts on the inside. And I'm going to do the same thing up here. I'm going to add a big highlight to the inside of this heart. But then this heart, I want to do stitches on. So I'm going to put these little tiny lines. I'm using my liner brush, this small liner brush. The lines are inside the heart a tiny bit, so this pink to the outside. And it's like somebody sewed this big fluffy heart. And we have those lines there. Okay. And I'm going to wash this brush. And go back to our blue. We're going to start adding a little bit of stitches to our hat. So I'm going to take my blue and I'm adding little tiny X's along each section where the pink meets the yellow. It's like a patchwork hat, and somebody sewed these rags together, and you have these little tiny stitches. You don't want too much paint on your brush. You want these X's to be small, and you can do as many as you want. They can be 4, 5, you can make them wider, you can make them closer. Totally up to you. Okay? And then I'm just going to put like a little line connecting them a little bit. There we go. Wash my brush. I'm going to come back to my pink over here, and I'm going to add a little bit of pink down here with the white. I get my darker burgundy. I'm going to add that to the knot here as well. Kind of give it a little shade in there. Then if you want, where's the brush I was using? Totally up to you. You can take your brush and put some hearts around the outside. So I'm going to come over here to my white. And when I do hearts, they make them like the letter V, but it's more of like I smush my brush. So I do 1 smush, 2 smush. 1, 2. 1, 2. They connect on the bottom, and they're just like these little imperfect, more like a boho heart. You want them going in different directions. If you spilled paint somewhere and you want to cover that up, that's a perfect place to put a heart. I don't want to put too many. And there we go. I'm going to go back to my liner brush. I think I'm going to get the yellow. I'm going to come down here. I'm going to put my initials. T, G. And there we go. Let me turn you guys around. So I hope you enjoyed painting this little fun Valentine gnome with me. Don't forget to hit the subscribe button, and I will see you next time.